My girlfriend told me I wasn't husband material because I couldn't afford the lifestyle she thought she deserved. 3 days later, she walked out of her building and saw who was waiting in my car, and everything changed that I didn't plan for anything dramatic that night. It was a Tuesday, the kind of weekday evening where the apartment feels like a pair of socks left on a radiator. Warm, familiar, a little worn out. I got home from work around 7, dropped my keys into the ceramic bowl by the door, the one she bought from a locally sourced artisan who lived 15 blocks away and charged $50 for a dish that still wobbled unevenly. She was already sitting at the kitchen counter, not scrolling her phone for once. That should have been my first warning. Usually, she didn't look up until I said something twice. "Hey," I said, loosening my tie. "You okay?" She didn't answer immediately. She looked prepared, like she'd been rehearsing. "I think we need to talk," she said. There it was. The sentence that never leads anywhere good. I sat across from her, and for a moment I genuinely believed this would be about something mundane. Chores, dinners, my job taking my attention, maybe that I forgot to RSVP to her friend's engagement party. But no, she cleared her throat. "I need to be honest with you. For your sake and mine." I braced myself. Then she said it, slowly, like she was unveiling something profound. "You're not husband material. Not for the lifestyle I deserve." I blinked. Not offended. Not angry. Just confused in a way that left a quiet ringing in my ears. "Husband material," I repeated. "Okay. And what lifestyle is that?" She didn't hesitate. It was almost impressive. She reached into her tote bag, pulled out a folded sheet of paper, and slid it across the counter. The way you'd hand someone a contract. I opened it. A wish list. Not metaphorical. A literal, bullet-pointed wish list. Mercedes G-Class. White, of course. Dior and Chanel seasonal releases. Not vintage, not outlet. Luxury Pilates studio membership. 3 international vacations a year. Weekend trips, anywhere, but somewhere nice. A condo upgrade within a year of marriage. Personal chef, if possible within 5 years. I stared at it for a good 10 seconds, trying to understand whether this was a joke. Her expression said otherwise. She looked proud, expectant, as though she'd just revealed her standards and was waiting to see whether I'd rise to the challenge or crumble. "Funded by me," I said flatly. "Well," she said, shifting in her seat. "Yes. You're the man. A husband should provide, right? I work hard. She works 20 hours a week at a boutique, and I deserve a lifestyle that reflects my value." I let out a breath through my nose. Not a laugh, not a scoff. Just the kind of exhale you make when the final puzzle piece suddenly reveals the picture you never wanted to see. She continued, as if reading from a script written by TikTok influencers and people who think love is a subscription service. "I just need someone elevated. Someone who sees my potential. Someone who's willing to invest in me." Invest. A word usually reserved for startups, real estate, and poorly thought out crypto schemes. I folded the paper and slid it back to her. "Okay," I said. Calm. Too calm. Calm in a way that made her tilt her head. "Okay, what?" she asked. "I hear you." Her face relaxed. She thought she'd won. That I was processing the idea of hustling harder, climbing higher, becoming whatever fantasy version of me fit her curated future. She didn't realize I was processing something else entirely. 3 days later, on a Friday morning, she walked out of her building expecting me to pick her up, like I always did, so we could talk properly. She spotted my car instantly. Then she saw who was sitting in the passenger seat, and she went completely pale. Her hand froze midway. Her eyes widened. Her mouth opened just slightly, enough to betray the shock crawling up her throat. Because the person sitting beside me wasn't a friend, wasn't a date, wasn't a replacement. It was someone who had every reason to be there, and someone who knew exactly why I'd asked them to come. She didn't walk toward the car at first. She froze on the sidewalk, clutching her phone like she needed it to stay upright. Her eyes darted from me, to the person sitting beside me, back to me. I could almost see the gears turning, trying to make the scene match any version of reality she recognized. But she couldn't, because in the passenger seat, calm, composed, wearing a pressed shirt and the expression of someone who doesn't get rattled, sat my sister. Adriana. Not just my sister. Not just family. An accountant. A forensic-level budget analyst. The one person who knows exactly what I earn, spend, save, invest, and avoid. If my girlfriend wanted to talk about lifestyles, Adriana was the perfect audience. I rolled down the passenger window. Adriana leaned an elbow out casually, raising an eyebrow. My girlfriend finally approached, slowly, like the ground might crack under her. Hi, she said, voice thin. What's going on? I put the car in park. Get in. We'll talk. She looked at Adriana again. Why is she here? Adriana smiled, the kind of smile you give when you already know someone's secrets and they don't know you know. Hi, she said smoothly. He told me you two were discussing future plans, financial expectations, lifestyle goals. She tapped the folder in her lap. I love numbers. My girlfriend's face tightened. She wasn't expecting an audience. She definitely wasn't expecting an audit. But she opened the back door and slid into the seat behind me, stiff as a mannequin. Okay, she said. So let's talk. I passed the folder to Adriana. She opened it and pulled out the same wish list my girlfriend had shown me 3 nights earlier. It looked even more absurd printed on crisp white paper. Adriana began as if giving a presentation. Great. So I took the liberty of breaking down the financial reality of this lifestyle you're requesting. My girlfriend blinked. I didn't request. Adriana held up a hand, polite but firm. Let's just look at the numbers. She cleared her throat. Luxury vacations, 3 a year, roughly 40 to 60,000. Designer shopping, assuming you mean current season, not resale, minimum 25 grand annually. The G-Wagon, she tapped the item, pushing 200,000 once you factor in taxes and maintenance. Then she turned around in her seat to face my girlfriend directly. And this, she gestured to the entire sheet, is before mortgage, savings, emergencies, healthcare, retirement, utilities, and food. My girlfriend swallowed. Hard. Adriana continued, tone clinical, professional. To provide this lifestyle comfortably, sustainably, and without debt, we're looking at a household income of roughly $500,000 a year. Silence filled the car. Then Adriana asked the question I had deliberately saved for her. So, how much are you contributing? My girlfriend straightened up as if preparing a defense. Well, I work, she said, and I'll keep working. But I shouldn't have to pay for lifestyle things. That's what a man does. Adriana blinked slowly. A man provides. A woman takes. Got it. That's not. My girlfriend started. Do you know how much he makes? Adriana asked. My girlfriend paused. She actually didn't. She never asked. She only assumed. I don't know exactly, she admitted. Adriana opened another folder, the audit of my finances I'd asked her to prepare. She turned the pages so only my girlfriend could see. This, Adriana said, tapping a line, is what he earns. Respectable, good, smart, stable, but not delusional. My girlfriend leaned forward, eyes darting across the numbers, and her breath hitched. Realization hit her like a slow, creeping wave. Her wish list wasn't just unreasonable. It was impossible. She looked up at me, face flushed. You brought your sister to embarrass me? No, I said quietly. I brought her so you'd understand something I realized the moment you called me not husband material. She bit her lip. What? I turned around to face her fully. You weren't looking for a partner, I said. You were looking for a sponsor. Her eyes widened, hurt, offended, maybe exposed. That's not fair. It's accurate. Adriana cut in gently. And it's better you hear it now, not 5 years into a marriage built on expectations he could never meet. My girlfriend shook her head, tears forming. I just want a good life. So do I said. But I don't want it with someone who sees me as a budget. She went silent, truly silent. Not sulking, not defensive, silent in the way of someone who suddenly realized they'd miscalculated badly. The kind of silence that replaces entitlement with fear. A long moment passed. Then, barely above a whisper, she asked, So what happens now? I looked at her in the rearview mirror. We talk, I said. Honestly. Without lists. Without fantasies. Without pretending. And if we can't, she whispered. I didn't answer. Because at that moment, neither of us knew that we drove in silence for a few minutes after that. Not tense silence. Not angry silence. Just the heavy kind. The kind that comes after someone sees themselves clearly for the first time. I pulled into a small, quiet park and turned off the engine. Adriana stepped out to take a phone call, which was just her polite way of giving us space. She wandered toward the trees while my girlfriend sat behind me, hands in her lap, breathing unevenly. When she finally spoke, her voice was small. I didn't mean to make you feel less. or inadequate, or whatever. I grew up with my mom always saying, aim high, don't settle. And I guess I just thought wanting luxury meant wanting stability. I shifted in my seat to look at her. Luxury isn't stability, I said. Security isn't measured in handbags. Happiness isn't a car model. A marriage isn't a reward you get from a man who out-earns your wish list. She wiped her cheek. I know. But you didn't, I said gently. Not before today. She didn't deny it. Instead, she whispered, I thought you'd fight me, or try to prove yourself, or promise to work harder for everything I want. That's the point, I said quietly. I don't want someone who measures me against a price tag. I don't want someone who sees marriage as an upgrade package. She pressed her forehead to the back of the seat. I'm sorry. It wasn't manipulative. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't dripping with excuses. It sounded real. And maybe that's what made what I said next so important. Let me ask you something, I said. And I want an honest answer. She lifted her head, eyes red. Oh, okay. If I lost everything tomorrow, job, savings, all of it, would you stay? The look on her face told me everything. She didn't need to speak. Her eyes flickered, 1 second too long, 1 inch too wide. Not anger, not disgust, not greed, just pure hesitation. And hesitation, when you're talking about love, is an answer. She opened her mouth, closed it, tried again. I, I don't know. Honest. Painfully honest. But honest. I nodded slowly. That's why we're here, I said. She let out a shaky breath. I really messed this up. Maybe, I said. Or maybe this is the first real conversation we've had. She hugged herself, staring out the window. What do you want me to do? She asked. I leaned back against the seat. I want you to decide whether you want me or the version of your life you think you deserve. She flinched slightly, but she didn't look away. And you? She whispered. What do you want? I looked out toward the trees where Adriana paced, pretending to be on a call. I want a partner, I said. Someone who wants a life we build together, not one I finance for her. The air shifted then, just a little. My girlfriend leaned forward, resting her hands on the center console. I want to try, she said quietly. I want to fix this. I don't want you to think I'm using you. I didn't realize how I sounded until you made me look at it. There was something raw there. Something unfamiliar. Humility. I'm not promising perfection, she said. But I'll be better. I want to be better, for you and for us. I studied her face. No entitlement. No demands. Just hope. I'll think about it, I said. Her throat bobbed. She nodded. Then Adriana reappeared, tapping on the window like she hadn't heard a single word, though I'm sure she heard every syllable. You two done being dramatic? She said, sliding back into the passenger seat. My girlfriend gave a weak, embarrassed laugh. Maybe, she said. Adriana buckled in. Good. Because I was about to come back with snacks and emotional support beverages. For the first time in hours, the mood shifted. Lighter, softer, human. I started the engine again. This conversation wasn't the end. But it wasn't the beginning, either. It was the moment we stepped out of illusions and into something that might actually be real. The morning light came in sharp, slicing through my blinds. I hadn't slept much. Not because I was angry, not because of the fight, but because something in me had shifted, quietly, decisively. That question I asked her in the car wouldn't leave my mind. If I lost everything tomorrow, would you stay? And the hesitation that followed. You can't unhear a truth like that. Still, I didn't make any dramatic decisions. I didn't ghost her. I didn't break up with her in the heat of emotion. Instead, I did something she never saw coming. I took a step back, not in anger, but in clarity. For 3 days, I didn't initiate texts. I answered her messages, but I kept them short. When she called, I spoke normally, politely, but not eagerly. I wasn't cold. I wasn't punishing her. I was observing. And she felt it. Her texts shifted from everyday updates to heavier things. Are we okay? 10:21 a.m. Did I ruin us? 3:07 p.m. I'm trying. I want you to see that I'm trying. 8:52 p.m. On the third night, she called. Not frantic, just small. Can we talk? She asked. About what? About us, she said. I feel like you're slipping away. I exhaled slowly. I'm thinking. That's all. I know, she whispered. And I hate that you need to think about us. I hate that I made you feel like an option. Her voice trembled. I want to make this right, she said. I really do. Then give me space to get clear, I said. She swallowed a yes. And then she stayed quiet. On the fourth day, I made a decision. Not about our relationship, not yet, but about myself. I invited someone to meet me outside her building. When I texted my girlfriend, "I'm outside," she practically ran out the doors, as if afraid I was there to end things. But she froze on the sidewalk, because she saw who was in my passenger seat. Her face went pale instantly. Her steps slowed. Her mouth parted, but no sound came out. Because sitting beside me, wearing a calm, almost neutral expression, was her mother. A woman I'd met only twice. A woman who carried herself like someone who'd seen every version of her daughter. Entitled, anxious, insecure, ambitious, selfish, loving, scared. A woman who had texted me privately after our couple's talk in the car and asked, politely, almost timidly, "Can we meet? I want to understand what happened." And I think she needs to face something she never will if it comes from me alone. I didn't expect that message, but I also didn't dismiss it. My girlfriend stopped a few feet from the car. "Mom," she whispered. Why are you?" Her mother stepped out slowly, not angry, not dramatic, just grounded. "Get in," she told her daughter softly. The girl's eyes shot to me, panicked, confused, guilty, maybe all of the above. "Why is she here?" she asked me, voice shaking. I spoke evenly. "Because you told me I wasn't husband material for the lifestyle you think you deserve. And because I think that belief didn't come from nowhere." Her mother closed her eyes, just for a moment, as if the words physically hit her. My girlfriend looked between us helplessly. "Mom, I—" "Get in the car," her mother repeated, quieter, firmer. "We're going to talk." And that was the moment, the exact moment. My girlfriend understood the gravity of everything she said to me. The entitlement, the wish list, the expectation that love was supposed to be a financial upgrade. She wasn't being ambushed. She wasn't being shamed. She was being held accountable by the last person she ever expected. She got in, slowly, quietly, and for the first time since we met. She didn't try to control the situation. She didn't defend. She didn't argue. She didn't pretend. She just sat there, small, human, stripped of the persona she had been performing. Her mother turned to her. "Start," she said gently. "Tell me exactly what you told him." My girlfriend's lips trembled, and then she broke, not into tears, into truth. Raw, stuttering, painful truth. The car was silent for a long moment after she finally spoke. Her words were rushed, tangled, sometimes stammered, but they were honest. No excuses. No justifications about her upbringing, her friends, or her expectations. Just her voice, trembling, admitting she had treated me like a provider first, a partner second. Her mother listened, nodded occasionally, didn't interrupt, just held the space. And that was worse than any yelling, any argument could have been. When she finished, I exhaled slowly. "Thank you for saying that," I said. "Not because it fixes anything, but because I finally know where we stand." Her eyes brimmed with tears, not theatrical, just human. "I want to try to make this right," she whispered. "I do, but I see now how far I strayed." I looked at her, at the girl who demanded luxury as a right, at the woman she was trying to be, at someone who had yet to understand the difference between admiration and entitlement. "I can't promise we'll end up together," I said softly. "And I can't promise I'll ever see you the same way. But I can promise honesty. From me, from now on." Her mother finally spoke, voice calm and firm. "Then start there. Accountability before expectation. You want a partner, you have to be one." My girlfriend nodded. Slowly, fully. For the first time, she wasn't performing or persuading. She was absorbing. We drove back to her building in silence. I didn't hold her hand. She didn't lean on me. No apologies were demanded, no promises extracted. When she stepped out of the car, she looked back once. Her expression wasn't triumphant. It wasn't desperate. It was reflective, unsettled, human, and that was enough. I drove away knowing that our relationship had shifted irreversibly. Not necessarily ended, but recalibrated. I spent the next few days quietly, alone, observing myself, listening to my own needs, reading her messages, which now came without entitlement, only reflection. I realized something fundamental. I don't need to be the man who finances someone else's fantasy to feel loved or worthy. I don't need to negotiate my self-respect for affection. And love that requires a ledger is not love. It's a contract masquerading as connection. I haven't decided if we'll rebuild. I may never know. And that's okay. Because the version of me I almost lost, self-respecting, patient, unwilling to be reduced to numbers, is back. Stronger, quieter, and clear-eyed. Her lesson wasn't about luxury. Mine wasn't about revenge. It was about accountability, boundaries, recognition of the difference between desire and dependence, between partnership and entitlement. I don't know what she will become. I don't know what I will become. But I know this. Clarity has a cost, and growth often comes in the form of letting go, even if it means leaving behind someone you still care about. And for now, that is enough.